Traders must know the time when you will contact the financial data of the week, when they will occur, the peaks of volatility in the markets. The greatest weight starts on Tuesday, May 22nd, at 15 GMT. In the U.S., the Sale of Buildings Index measures the number of homes that were sold during the previous month. The previous data was of 4,480 homes, and forecast data is 4,600. Reading upward will give strength to the dollar in its progress. At 21:30 GMT, American Petroleum releases its weekly petroleum inventory. The previous data is 6.54 million tons. No forecast data. Wednesday 13:30 GMT, selling U.S. retail data, previous 0.5% forecast by 1%. At 15 o'clock GMT, new housing data in United States. Forecast 335,000, 328,000 givens. These data, in conjunction with others, measure U.S. economic strength and influence the dollar's appreciation. Thursday 24, at 7 GMT, German GDP will be published, CoQ and the YoY, with data previously plus 0.5% and 1.7%, no prognosis. Show the overall growth rate, and influences the value of the euro. At 9 GMT, the index of German IFO business climate determines the index for business confidence and conditions in the Eurozone. The previous data was 109.9, and the prognosis is of 109.4. Arrived at Friday 25, we will at 12:30 GMT, the CPI for Tokyo, with data previously minus 0.5% and a forecast of minus 0.6%. Forex traders in any two with the yen should consider this news, which produce movements.
Europe and the United States are known losers in the war in Syria, whose invasive approaches continue to fail. The damage not only to the Syrian population, but in the neighboring regions, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Lebanon, using the same strategy of attempted democratization, and not attending to legitimate interests, as made known to world population, in the media related to governments but to the old employment intentions, for purposes of ownership of energy resources, violating the most basic international treaties, and with the consent and the passivity of European states and related to American expansion has been the beginning of the end in Syria. The discovery a few years ago a big bag of gas centered in Syria, and extending through the Mediterranean to Lebanon. It has been the cause of this atrocity. The origin is in Western energy companies, which have pressured politicians to give terrorist movements, through lobbies close to the Obama administration organizations like AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and political pressure on winners Obama, Bush, Hillary Clinton representative at the UN, Susan Rice, Congressman Elliot Angel, and others. According to the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, the Mediterranean basin holds the largest gas reserves in the world, and it is in Syria where they are the most important. The game begins in 1995 when Vladimir Putin outlines a strategy of dual axis, Europe, China with Gazprom, as championed by the projects, Nord Stream, connecting Vyborg Russian gas to Germany through the Baltic Sea to Weinberg and Sassnitz. Another project called South Stream, that part of the gas-bearing areas of Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan and Iran, across the Black Sea to reach Bulgaria. There is divided through Greece and southern Italy, and on the other hand, Hungary and Austria, which would supply southern Europe with future connection to the Middle East. Washington on the other hand, implements the project Nabucco, supported by the European Union, originating in Azerbaijan, Iran's neighbor, which crosses the Black Sea, passing through Turkey, where there is a storage infrastructure, and covers Bulgaria, crosses Romania, Hungary and reaches Austria, from where you are going to the Czech Republic, Croatia, Slovenia and Italy. The signing of an agreement between Syria and Iran to transport Russian gas to the customer has truncated American plans that sought to determine the political strategy of the next 100 years. The revelation of the secret Syrian gas gives an idea of the enormous importance of what is at stake. From Syria, the gateway to Asia, will hold the key of the Russian house, and also that of China through the Silk Road, as saying the Russian Empress Catherine the Great. This will rule the world, as this century is the century of gas. It is for this reason, the signatories of the Damascus Agreement allow the gas, Iran, Iraq pass through and reach the Mediterranean, creating a new geopolitical space, and cutting the lifeline of Nabucco, which currently is wounded of death. But neither the bear or the dragon, forget the attempted attacks in the West, and wait for the next Olympic Games in London on the 27th of July, to give definitive signs of leadership, not just in sports.
Dow Jones Daily Chart, we see that the zone has reached 38.2%, technical full cycle pulse 10,362 to 13,306. Another indication is complemented arrival in the oversold area, which since September 201, he was fallen. Touch bounce upward, without this is a change in trend, so it should only bounce, as they send up cannons. In the 30-min chart, we see in more detail, which is in the bearish wave 5, arrival also oversold, and with the addition of a divergence, that sends the 12,473 area. We have all the elements to open long positions in the 12,350. DEX also arriving in the oversold area, with ground hitman candle market, with a formation of wave 4, which has not yet come to overlap with the one, which would in the environment 6,170. The rebound in the Dow Jones will help you start next upward cycle. Both markets, DEX and Dow, is in the beginning of a rebound. We see on the chart 30-min, and the pattern is exactly like the Dow, although a little more separation, in the zone oversold over the oscillators, if in a wave 5, diverging upwards, with projection the zone 6,333. So long positions 6,255. IBEX, after the loss of the area 6,650, in which called CAD and is resisting losing, the 6,500 is serving as a fragile medium, in which cries out for a pullback to 6,750, and not only that, but close divergence in the 7,616, which should arrive, to understand and sing along to the analysts, assigned to the system, that the shift is close and call into question once again, that the blow to his decrepit system, is calculated and even not complete. In 30 minutes, this divergence is observed close to the pending 6,638, with a formation of wave 4 and 5 yet perform on this day, which sends it directly from the 6,532 closing price to the zone 6,642. There are 110 points that you should not miss, the gentlemen traders. The euro-dollar, signposted from the loss of the neckline, with a projection that is not over at 1.24, is calling for a pullback to 1.2990 zone, from 1.27, after reaching the oversold zone, where he was the last time on the 6th of January 2012. And forming a positive reversal divergence, will quickly send you upward. In 30 minutes, the rebound in the closing differences, with 1.26, lets you cycle as the only alternative to projective to 1.2990 zone. We should wait for a relaxation in prices. To enter the risk zone of wave 3, in the 1.2793, with objective to close the gap into 1.2911. Gold, by double minimum in the 1,500, with oversold and divergence, forming positive reversal, sensing to the ceiling zone, but not before having break resistance in 1613, where it should also meet a pullback. In 30 minutes, occurs in a state of wave 5, diverging pending close in 1608, is asking for long positions, in the 1,598, with the goal in the closing of divergence. Texas Oil in 30-min has entered a relaxation of price, which we will leave the analysis, for the time being until the situation becomes complicated in late June.